Joining me live is Shane Sali, the Mayor of Shepparton. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got a very busy day ahead. As we've just heard with our meteorologist, the warnings are still out, the rivers are moving through. Tell us what it's like at your town at the moment in Shepparton and what you're in for.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Janie. Yeah, obviously we're expecting significant flood to take place over the course of the next couple of days. Obviously, all the water that we saw go through Seymour along the Goulburn River is effectively making its way to our region. It's going to hit Murchison, which is a part of Greater Shepparton. They've already undertaken an evacuation process for low-lying areas. And once it makes its way to heavily populated areas in Shepparton and Mooroopna, no doubt there will be many places inundated. So we've got multiple sites set up for relief centres, and there is a significant sandbag process underway.
The latest I heard from the SES is around 4,000 homes are potentially going to be affected. What is the latest that you can tell us?
Yeah, so at that point, that's the latest information that I have, is that there'll be up to 4,000 houses that could be impacted with the flood that we're expecting. We'll know a little bit more as today proceeds into tonight, but we're putting as many measures in place to accommodate those that will be affected.
We've seen devastating vision and hearing from residents, including with our reporter Julia Bradley in Maribyrnong in Melbourne, and just seeing, as what they described it, as a muddy mess and a lot of clean-up, emotional moments, people not having time to collect their belongings and so forth. You in Shepparton have got some preparation, some places don't. It just depends on the movement of the rivers and the weather situation. How are residents in Shepparton feeling?
Yeah, so we've had at least a 24 to 48 hour notice in between what's going to potentially take place tonight. So we've been doing our very best to get as much messaging out there as we possibly can to ensure that people are as connected to those reliable news sources as they can be, have all the up-to-date information, be across those social media platforms like SES, the Greater Shepparton City Council Facebook page, Vic Emergency Facebook and social media platforms to help people be informed as to what's coming. Like I said, the past couple of days, it's effectively business as usual if you look outside your window, but with what's coming, we need people to be as prepared as they possibly can. And most people, if not all, should know what's in place for them over the coming 2 to 3 days.
And Shane, again, we see the vision of rivers and roads, the water just moving in so quickly, and obviously then the roads have to close in a moment's notice. We've also seen, a number of rescues from animals as well. What are you saying to the community in terms of preparing for animals and getting out into the roads? Because things happen, as we know, so quickly and so, unpredictably.
Yeah, so we know there's a flood coming. So that's the first message that got out as early as we possibly could, sort of midweek, especially on Thursday. So that allowed community to prepare as they possibly could. But we understand people leave it sometimes to the last minute. But we ask you to act now. On a worst case scenario, if the flood doesn't get to the level, that we're expecting, then that's a good thing. But we ask you to prepare as early as you possibly can, get to higher ground, get away from your flood affected area if you are in that location, and get connected to those resources that are on the ground that can support you and other family and friends that might be in need.
Well, Shane, thank you very much. Again, I know you've got a very busy couple of days at least ahead, but we wish you and everyone very safe wishes and take care.
Thank you for having me.